Welcome to your Magnetic Purpose podcast, where human design meets astrology and tarot. I'm your host, Ashley Hood. Get ready to explore, evolve, and embrace your fullest potential. Welcome to a journey of self-discovery like no other. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Your Magnetic Purpose, the podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Hood, and today I wanted to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the Bodygraph chart, because that's going to be the first place that you're going to go when you go and learn about your human design. The Bodygraph chart is your own personalized chart that tells you everything that you need to know about your energy. So I thought that this would be a really good starting off point, because nothing else is going to make sense unless you actually understand what is in your Bodygraph chart, because that is how you're going to get all of the information about what you need to thrive and survive in this life. So you've gone to the website, you've put in all of your birth information, and you are going to be pulled up with this wild looking chart. And there's going to be a lot of information on it. So I'm going to break it down just in really small sections so that we can move forward on the next podcast episode and really get into what the nuances of the charts mean. So the first thing that's going to be written on your chart is going to be your type. This is your energetic blueprint. There's either going to be a manifestor, manifesting generator, projector, or reflector. This is how you operate in the world and how others take you in. It could be your auric field, and it is the presence that you give off when you step into a room and how the other takes you in, sees you, and metabolizes your energy. Next, you're going to see your strategy. And your strategy is the best way for you to engage with life. Each one of the types has their own specific way of engaging with their strategy. It can be to inform, respond, or even wait for a lunar cycle. When you follow your strategy, you are going to live a life that is full of flow and ease, and it's going to really take off that resistance, and that block that you might be feeling is going to be using your energy correctly so that you can be in alignment. But what goes hand in hand with your strategy is going to be your authority. Your authority is your decision-making process. And again, it is type specific. So your authority is going to be the way that you are meant to take in information and make a decision that's right for you, especially when it comes to your really big life themes. Did you know that half of the population is actually an emotional authority? So that means that they have to wait until they come to a completely neutral place before making a decision. They're not meant to make snap judgments or snap decisions in the moment. Once they're neutral, that is the best way for them to actually make a decision that's correct for their energy type. And then there's your profile. Your profile is your personality archetype. It's going to be the closest thing that you're going to get to within your zodiac chart. And it actually does play up, and you use a lot of the information from your astrology and your specific sun sign. So when you're looking at your profile, there's going to be two separate numbers that kind of look like a fraction. So it could be like a 1-3, a 2-4, a 5-1. Those are all the different roles that you play in this life and your life's theme. So when you are looking at those two numbers, the very first number that you see is going to be what you know about yourself, how you function in this world, how you perceive yourself, and little nuances that you know about you. But then on the second number is going to be how a other person takes you in. For example, mine is a 1-3, so that's the investigating martyr. For me, I know myself to be someone who deep dives in every single thing that there is to know. And if I get a little bit of a aha, I will go deep into a rabbit hole about something for hours, days, weeks on end. I know that about myself. I assume that's what others know about me. But I actually have the 3 after. So that is how the other takes me in, and that is the martyr. So that is all about trial and error, like kind of being like an anarchist. Like no one can tell you what to do. You're just out there doing your own thing because you really have to go and experience life and then bring back all the information that you learn. So that was one of the really cool things for me when I first got into human design, was actually realizing how other people take me in versus what I think about myself. And then you come to definition. Definition is how the energy moves through your body and through your chart. 46% of the population have a split definition. They're the people who thrive in group settings and who really need that external validation or input to be able to do and move energy throughout their body. There's also a single definition that those are the people who are just like solo people. They can go do their own thing. They're a well-contained little unit, and you don't need to check on them too much because they are already off to the races once you've told them what to go and do. And then we get to my favorite, the incarnation cross. This is your life's work. This is your purpose. This is what you're here for. This is the 4 most prominent gates within your chart, and they really make up the flavor of you and all of the nuances. Whenever you have a question about your direction in life, you can always take it back to your incarnation cross because it's such a wealth of information, but it also gives you a path forward and a plan for when you feel a little bit lost or if you want to check that you're on the right spot. So that's going to be a lot of information that you're going to see written out in your chart. But then when you actually are looking at your chart, you're going to see all of these different shapes with lines going through it and little dots all lit up. That is your actual body graph. So the shapes are going to be your centers. Those are energy hubs. And you can either have them defined or undefined. They are the closest thing to the chakra system, but there's 9 centers where the traditional chakra system has 7. If you have a center that is defined, that means that you have consistent energy in that center. This is also what gives your whole chart your flavor. Not 2 generators are the same and no 2 charts are the same. So if you have a center that's defined, it really helps to talk about the different energy that you have within your manifesting generatorness or in your reflectorness. So when you have a center defined, it means that you have consistent energy in that center and is reliable to you. It also helps to give that little bit of a flavor to your type. No 2 generators are the same, just like no 2 charts are the same. Where you have a center that is undefined or open, that is one of your greatest gifts if you can overcome the shadow that comes with it. That is where we take in the most conditioning from people, but it's also where we're a little bit like psychic in. You are here to be able to learn and absorb those energies, but not take it as your own. That is going to be the way that you can transcend through your shadow element of that open center and move over to the gift of it, which is going to be just the enlightenment of it and being an observer and not letting it stick to you. Learning to understand your centers is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself. If you can see where you're open and susceptible to taking in energy that isn't yours, you can really start to work with the energy that's consistent within you and share those gifts in the world. You are meant to live out your energy that is consistent because that makes you who you are. But it's really great to know the shadow side of all of your open centers so that when you are triggered by something, you know if it's yours or if it's something else that's external from you. Within your centers, you're going to find your gates. Your gates are what corresponds to the 64 hexagram in the I Ching. These are special gifts and talents and traits that you came into this world with, and you're meant to express them fully in only the way that you can. If you have a defined or an undefined center where the gate is, that's also going to add a special nuance to it about how you express it. Our greatest connection to those gates are going to be channels. These are going to be the lines that you're seeing that are connecting the different gates within your body graph chart. And this has to do with the Kabbalah system, how everything in life is connected and it flows through each other. Channels are meant to be consistent, reliable life force energy that you have within you that is specific to you in the way that you operate with it. When it comes to your signature, each type has their own signature theme. This is how you know that you're in full alignment and you're not listening to the outside voices or validation or taking in conditioning that isn't yours. You'll know that you're in alignment with your energetic type by your signature theme. But then you also have your not self theme. This is the shadow side to your type. This is how you know that you are out of alignment or you're doing things that are against your energy or doing things that actually don't resonate with you and you feel like you're forced to do them. When you're in your not self theme, again, each type has their own way of expressing this. For projectors, it's bitterness. Manifestors is anger. Generators and manifesting generators is frustration. And then for reflectors is confusion. When you're looking at your Bodygraph chart, you're going to see that there's 2 columns on each side. The column that is on your right-hand side, that is your personality side. The column that is on your left-hand side, that's your design side. Your personality side is all of the gates that are in your chart that are conscious to you. These are energies and ideas and feelings and attitudes and flavors and everything that you know about yourself. And if someone were to point it out to you, you're like, yeah, I am that way. But then your column on the left is your design side. These are all things that are subconscious to you, and they were imprinted 88 days before your birth. If you want to know more about that, go to my website, yourmagneticpurpose.com. I have a whole blog post on it to better understand the difference between the two and how they interact with each other. But your design side is things that people recognize in you that you maybe don't see within yourself. You can get access to it, but it really needs to be pointed out to you, but it's not something that you know to be yourself. So that's why human design is so cool. Not only is it the science of differentiation, like the different ways that you have your gates, that you're supposed to express those, but also it's such a wonderful tool for self-awareness. Because if you think that you are your personality side and others are picking you up as your design side, if you don't have any awareness of that, that can be really confusing for you, where maybe you think you're really extroverted, but then you have friends that are like, no, you're a total homebody who is so quiet. And you're like, I don't understand where the difference is coming from. So that's what's really cool about using the human design system, is not only do you understand how to express yourself the best, but also you get a little bit of a heads up on how people are taking you in and taking your energy in when you walk into a room. And you'll notice on your 2 columns there that each one of your gates corresponds with a different planetary placement. So that is what the planets were doing 88 days before you were born for your design side, and then on the moment of birth on your personality side. This is really great too, because this corresponds with astrology. So once you can understand some astrological terminology, it makes understanding the planets and the gates that are together a little bit easier for an even deeper dive into it. Once you get further along understanding your human design and experimenting with it, because again, after all, this is just an experiment. I can sit here and I can tell you all these things, but if you have a 3 in your profile like I do, I really need to go out and live it and understand it to make it work for me. But once you get a little bit deeper of playing around with your human design and really understanding who you are and what makes you you, then you can start to get into what we call the variables. And those are going to be the 4 arrows that are on the top of your chart. If you have more of your arrows pointing left, those are things that you are more strategic and you're more structured in. And if you have the more arrows pointing right, those are things that you are more passive and adaptable to. Once you get into them, they start to let you know things about how you're supposed to live, your brain function, manifesting, digestion, and all the things that kind of make you operate in the outside world. They're like your daily go-to rituals of how you are meant to live in alignment for yourself that is correct for you. So all of this brought together really makes a really laid out, very, very, very detailed analogy of who you are. Ways that I really enjoy using the human design chart is if I'm going into a big presentation, I like to look at my Mercury and show myself how I best express my voice and how I can communicate. When I walk into a room, I know that I'm a generator, so I know the energy that a generator brings to a room, and I try and use that to my advantage, but also use that to make others feel comfortable around me. It's also very helpful too to know what I have energy for and what I'm saying yes to that actually I do want to do versus me trying to people please and say yes to something that I actually don't want to do. It doesn't resonate with me, so I'm not going to have the right fulfillment in it, and I'm going to be really frustrated the entire time that I'm doing it. Understandably, in life, there are things that we have to do that are just not what we want to do at all times, but we know that by doing it, it's going to get us to the greatest end. So that's why using your human design is a really good key for that, because you can understand what the reward will be with your energy at the end of it. And it makes moving through life and sometimes some of the stuff we don't want to do a little bit easier, because you're going to be getting towards your type's sense of fulfillment, your type's signature theme. So for me, understanding my body graph chart has been one of the most helpful things for me. It really helped me to unlock all the different nuances about myself, but also understand how I am perceived in the world and how I want to be perceived. I now know what I have enough energy to do, and if I'm doing the right things, or if I'm just out there people pleasing, trying to do something that I think is right for me, but I know within my body that I just don't want to be here, or I don't want to be doing it. It really helps to bring in all of the right opportunities for me as I move through some of the things that maybe I was trying to force to happen that actually wasn't the right opportunity. It also really helped me with how to express myself best and how to get my point across in a way that is unique to me, but also I know how others are taking it in. So if any of this sounds exciting or useful, or you want to know more about it, just head over to our website, yourmagneticpurpose.com. You can download your body graph for free. You can book a one-on-one reading with me, or we can do a mini reading about your chart that I can just send to you and you can watch it at any time you like. There's also a 60+ page PDF that makes up your entire body graph chart that is specific to you, so that you can really start to do a deep dive on yourself and all the things that make you, you. So thank you for spending time with me today as we went over the body graph chart. Again, I'm your host, Ashley Hood. If you liked this episode, please like, subscribe, share, leave a review. It really helps to get this information out there, and it makes it more accessible to everybody. I look forward to seeing you all and talking to you on the next episode. Bye.